Episode 85. I bet you two already did it. Lan Yanjin let out a big sigh as he smiled stiffly. The man's eyebrows were dropped down, and a hint of sadness could be seen in his eyes. So Nan Shen already made his move earlier than him. What? Why are you asking that? This time it was Tan Hua's turn to get choked on her own saliva. The girl looked at Nan Shen's direction, ensuring that the man didn't hear the conversation on the phone. That would be very embarrassing. So you did? Well, if that's the case, what can I do? Lan Yanjin laughed, but his eyes didn't look happy at all. His face was gloomy and his eyes were empty, dead without his usual spirit. Tan Hua could vaguely sense a tinge of sadness in Lan Yanjin's voice. The girl was stumped for words and cooking speech for a while, confused as to what to say. She knew it was cruel for someone who loved her, but she hoped that Lan Yanjin would move on and meet a new girl he deserves to get. I get it. I won't become a thorn in your path. You guys already did it and will be married next week? What can I do? I'll just ask for compensation since you exterminate the contract. Lan Yanjin sighed as he gripped his cup of coffee tighter than before. It would be a lie if he said he was all right, even after knowing this shocking news. But he too had his principles. He didn't want to obstruct someone else's happiness when it was already set. It was clear he didn't have any chances to get Tan Hua again, so why should he persist and bring misfortunes to others instead? What he could do now was to silently give them his blessings and threaten Nan Shen to never make Tan Hua cry. Just tell me what compensation you want later. I'll surely fulfill it. I'm sorry I can't accept your feeling, but thank you for playing along with my plan. Tan Hua smiled bitterly as she says her last goodbye to Lan Yanjin. She hoped the best for the man, but the best for Lan Yanjin wasn't her. I get it. See you, Lan. Yanjin hurriedly hung the call as he strode to his room. He didn't let his butler follow him as he let out his frustration alone in his room. See you, Tan Hua also hung the call and stood up. She saw that Nan Shen already finished doing the house chores and was now calling Ren Yuan to tell him about them getting married next week. She bet Nan Shen wanted to ask Ren Yuan to be his spokesperson at the wedding as his best friend. Should she also tell Mi Shu so she could be her bridesmaid? But Mai Shu surely won't like this news since this Mai Shu wasn't her best friend. What? They're getting married? Mai Shu's eyes widened in shock when Ren Yuan told her with a bright face. This can't be. Yes. So Nan Shen invites us to a small party a day before the wedding. To celebrate their last day of becoming single, Ren Yuan looked at Mai Shu with cold eyes. He didn't really want to invite this girl too, but what if the old Mai Shu suddenly came back when they didn't invite her? It's better to keep an eye on this girl rather than letting her roam around freely. I see this is good news, Mi Shu smiled, but her smile didn't reach her eyes at all. The girl silently balled her fist as she cursed Tan Hua in her heart. That bitch already made a move. Wedding? In just 7 days? Just what happened when those two weren't around? Could it be Tan Hua seduced Nan Shen with her body? Mi Shu gritted her teeth in anger. Tan Hua was only cannon fodder. Just because she was also a transmigrator like her, that girl dared to change the story plot. She should have died in Nan Shen's hands, but she was still alive and instead will get married to the man himself. This is too absurd. Let's prepare a gift for them. Ren Yuan stood up and paid the bill for the food they ordered before exiting the cafe, leaving Mi Shu behind. He was here today only because this girl said she needed him to accompany her. If not for that, why would he want to eat with someone who wasn't exactly his girl? Shu, just where are you and what are you doing now? Unknown to anyone, Mi Shai in Tan Hua's original world was doing fine as a female CEO, plus a talented designer. She was having her fun discovering so many weird fashions, but at the same time, also missed Ren Yuan, whom she could never meet without God's permission. Wait for me. Seeing Ren Yuan already leave, Mi Shu hurriedly stood up and chased after him. She couldn't understand why Ren Yuan was acting cold to her. Shouldn't this man pamper her? She's the female lead. 2 days later. The news of Lan Yanjin's broken engagement was silently spread around the upper-class society, and the news of Nan Shen's marriage quickly replaced it. Some people thought that Tan Hua was only using Lan Yanjin to promote her company, and others believed that it was the way around. The media was filled with the news of Lan Yanjin's broken engagement and Nan Shen's marriage that no other news could possibly be as hot as these two news. Young Master Nan finally got married. One of Nan Shen's fans cried her heart out to her friend as she watched the news about the upcoming wedding. The bride was, of course, the influential figure in the fashion industry, Tan Hua. The girl even won the world-class designer tournament just recently, really elevating her name even more than before. Don't cry. You can't possibly win against CEO Tan. The girl's friend shook her head as she watched the photo of Tan Hua and Nan Shen, pre-wedding, being shown in the morning news. It was as if this couple themselves allowed the media to spread the news of their luxury wedding in 4 or 5 days. Damn, bitch. Mai Shu throws the remote in her hand to the television. When the first news she watched after waking up was the news of Nan Shen and Tan Hua's grand marriage. She was already happy when some controversy spread around saying that Tan Hua was a bad girl for dumping Lan Yanjin just a while after their engagement party. But what happened now? Lan Yanjin himself made a statement that it was he who broke the engagement since he only wanted to get Tan Hua's help on his company. Without Lan Yanjin's statement, Tan Hua would be seen as a bitch by the other families. But Lan Yanjin had to save her. People won't dare to go against Lan Yanjin, and since the man said it was his plan to exploit Tan Hua, as someone who works in the business world, that was completely normal. Tan Hua's image was saved, and people blessed her marriage with Nan Shen. This is unacceptable. Mai Shu gritted her teeth, seeing the various beautiful pre-wedding photos the news showed to the audience. Isn't this a complete show-off? Tan Hua didn't deserve Nan Shen. It should be her. Mai Shu slammed her fist to the armrest of her sofa while thinking of what she should do. She couldn't let Tan Hua marry Nan Shen because she couldn't let go of Nan Shen just yet. That man was her dream man. What should she do? Should she just kill Tan Hua, since that girl was supposed to be dead already? She won't change the story plot and instead saving it. Right. Tan Hua must be a bug. That's why she was sent to this world, to help to restore the story plot to the right track. If Tan Hua dies, everything would slowly go back to the original plot, right? Ren Yuan and Nan Shen would slowly fall for her, just like in the story. Tan Hua's company would cease to exist, and the so-called invention she brought from their world would also slowly disappear. Or maybe be taken by Lan Yanjin. Anyway, killing Tan Hua sounds like a good idea. Mi Shu smiled happily as she arranged a plan to kill Tan Hua right before her wedding day, the day when they celebrate the last time they were single. She wasn't going to be a mere killer, she was going to be the savior of this world. A day before the wedding. Welcome. Tan Hua welcomed Ren Yuan and Mi Shu, who came to their house. Nan Shen really had moved fast. He had even prepared her things to be moved to his mansion. With this, after the wedding, they could immediately start living as newlyweds. She bet Nan Shen would already prepare a honeymoon trip for them right after the wedding reception ends. You already start living with him, huh? Ren Yuan looked around the mansion he rarely visits nowadays and sighed. He always thought that this mansion was cold and silent since only Nan Shen lived here now. With Tan Hua joining Nan Shen, things should change for the better. Yep. Tan Hua led Ren Yuan and Mi Shu to the living room with a smile on her face. She had ended her revenge on Ren Yuan's company, so now they were even. Ren Yuan's company had slowly recovered from their loss when she abused her power to suppress them. Where is Shen Ling? Just when Mi Shu and Ren Yuan sat down, Mai Shu immediately asked Tan Hua about Shen Ling's whereabouts, which was a weird thing to ask. He is abroad, having a crucial job. Tan Hua shrugged her shoulder as she answered coldly. She bet Shen Ling purposely took the job abroad so he could avoid her and Nan Shen. Oh. Mai Shu silently grinned, knowing that Shen Ling wasn't invited. She was most wary of Shen Ling. That man seemed like he knew something about her, and thus, if that man was here, how could she execute her plan? God must be on her side to make Shen Ling not attend this small party. She was destined to save this world from a bug like Tan Hua. You guys are here? Nan Shen, who was arranging the table on the second floor, appeared on the first floor, approaching Ren Yuan and the others at the living room. The man looked happier than usual with that obvious idiotic smile on his face. Anyone would know that this man looked extremely happy about his upcoming wedding. Here comes the groom-to-be. Ren Yuan hurriedly stood up before patting Nan Shen's shoulder with a faint smile on his face. He thought he would be the one getting married earlier than Nan Shen, but who knows, it was reversed instead. If only Mi Shu was the real Mi Shu, he too would already propose to marry her. A pity he had to wait for God to know how long it could be. Anyway, he was happy for his best friend as well as his rival. He remembered that Nan Shen also had interest in Mi Shu before he met Tan Hua. This man was his best friend as well as a rival in love. Only until Tan Hua came into Nan Shen's life though. Thanks bro, you two should get married soon. Nan Shen cleared his throat, feeling a bit embarrassed that Ren Yuan congratulated him. He also hopes that this friend of his could get married soon. With the real Mi Shu, of course. Guys, we girls will head to the kitchen to prepare the food. Mi Shu, who was silent before, suddenly stood up while pushing Tan Hua to the kitchen. The girl very suddenly interrupted the guys' conversation, making both of them raise their eyebrows in confusion. What is this girl planning again? Nan Shen couldn't help but look at the direction where Tan Hua and Mi Shu went to. He knew the girls would prepare the meal anyway, but why did he have this ominous feeling? Don't think too much. Let's go to the dining room. Ren Yuan patted Nan Shen's back again as he went to the second floor. He would wait for the girls to finish the dish so they could begin the party. Nan Shen reluctantly followed Ren Yuan to the second floor, even though he had a bad feeling leaving Tan Hua alone. Maybe because of Shen Ling's warning, he became paranoid? He thought too much. Everything would be all right, just what could happen in his own house. Kitchen. Tan Hua. A fellow transmigrator. You can smile now, but today is your last day. Mi Shu suddenly turned around with a knife in her hand. The knife she got was, of course, from somewhere in the kitchen, but the appearance of the knife shocked Tan Hua greatly. Knife. Tan Hua's body froze as her trauma resurfaced. She hasn't seen sharp objects like a knife for a while, since Nan Shen always does the cooking, preventing her from seeing a knife due to her trauma. Yet now the object of her trauma appeared again. What are you doing? Tan Hua had a feeling that Mi Shu would do something to her using the knife. She should run or scream, but even speaking was difficult for her. Her body was trembling as she slowly lost her energy. Not to mention running away, even standing straight was hard for her. The trauma got triggered again. What am I doing? Mi Shu approached Tan Hua with a smirk on her face. This girl still asked her what is she doing? Of course she was going to save the world. Stop. Don't you dare. Nan Shen and Ren Yuan won't forgive you. Tan Hua's face went pale, seeing the sharp edge of the knife facing her. She could use her martial arts to do something to stop this crazy girl, but her body won't obey her wish. She felt very weak. Her heart was thumping loudly and sweats drenched her forehead as well as her back. The image of the scene where her leg was stabbed with a small knife kept appearing in her mind, sending a fake feeling of pain on her leg. No, she couldn't move. She's scared. Tan Hua wanted to scream, but all she could produce was a faint whisper. She really couldn't scream at all. Even speaking normally was difficult. Only a tiny bit of voice was produced from her mouth. It seems that you are afraid now? Don't worry, I'll end this fast. I'll save this world from a bug like you. Mi Shu didn't wait for long before thrusting the knife into Tan Hua's stomach, while the girl couldn't move due to her trauma. Tan Hua cried out in pain, but it was only a faint noise she produced. The girl's eyes widened in shock when she saw the knife embedded in her stomach. Her body lost all its strength as the only thing she felt was a sharp, throbbing pain in her stomach. You deserve it. Mi Shu deepened the knife before hurriedly leaving the kitchen, as well as leaving the house, after making sure Tan Hua would 100% die. The girl leaves without sound, not alarming the guys on the second floor. Wait. Tan Hua's face went pale real quick. Her body fell to the floor as the girl clutched the wound on her stomach. Her head was dizzy. Blood slowly flowed out from the wound. Her face was drained of blood, leaving only a pale face without her usual vigor. Painful. It's so painful. Tan Hua felt very miserable. The knife was still there in her stomach, giving her a sense of danger. The hard, cold metal being embedded in her body. This feeling won't be good. Her skin felt like being torn apart as her body slowly could feel the warmth from her own blood tainting the floor. It was so difficult to even open her eyes. Nan Shen. Tan Hua opened her mouth slightly, calling Nan Shen as tears flowed down her cheek. Is this the day Shenling feared? Is this the time for her fate to come? At least she wanted to die peacefully with Nan Shen being by her side. She hasn't even attended her own wedding day, hasn't given birth to a baby for Nan Shen. Tan Hua was gasping desperately as she took the phone from her pocket. She couldn't move at all before when she saw the knife, but now she could slightly move using all her strength left in her body. Quick, call Nan Shen. Tan Hua pressed the emergency call button directed immediately to Nan Shen's phone. The girl squeezed her eyes tight as she endured the pain, as well as persevering so she won't lose her consciousness yet. Nan Shen was playing a card game with Ren Yuan when he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his heart. This happened exactly at the same time as when Mi Shu stabbed Tan Hua in her stomach. What's wrong? Ren Yuan raised his eyebrows when he saw Nan Shen suddenly stopped playing and blankly stared at him instead. The man bit his lips as if he was in pain, worrying him to death. No, I just feel bad. Nan Shen's heart beat faster for no reason and cold sweat suddenly drenched his back. He was worried out of the blue. It was as if something happened to someone dear to him. But is that true? Tan Hua. He had to see her. Right when Nan Shen stood up and was about to check on Tan Hua because of his bad feeling, he suddenly got a phone call from the girl. Tan Hua, are you? Nan Shen was just about to ask if she was all right, when what he heard was Tan Hua's weak, faint voice over the phone. Help. Tan Hua could only whisper this one word before she lost her consciousness. She couldn't hold it back anymore with how much blood she lost. The wound she got was very deep, looking at how the knife stabbed her until only the handle could be seen from outside. Tan Hua? Nan Shen's heart stopped beating when he heard Tan Hua's hoarse voice asking for help. He tried to call her again, but the girl didn't answer, even though the call was still connected. Just what happened? Nan Shen's face went pale as he hurriedly ran to the first floor, surprising Ren Yuan. The man didn't know why Nan Shen suddenly ran with a face as pale as a ghost, but the man too quickly ran following after Nan Shen. Tan Hua. What happens? Nan Shen arrived at the kitchen a second later, only to see Tan Hua with a pale face lying motionlessly in a pool of blood. What? Nan Shen froze on the spot when he saw Tan Hua lying down unconscious, with blood kept coming out from her stomach. His head went blank as he almost fainted on the spot, if not for Ren Yuan slapping his back to keep him conscious. Call an ambulance. Ren Yuan's face went pale, seeing Tan Hua in such condition. He didn't know what happened, but he quickly called an ambulance while keeping Nan Shen sane. The man already looked like a dead zombie the moment he saw Tan Hua in the middle of the pool of blood. What's going on? Nan Shen approached Tan Hua with a trembling body. The man's voice was hoarse as he squatted down, wanting to touch Tan Hua but was afraid to do so. He wanted to pull the knife in her stomach but recalled that he mustn't do that instead. Nan Shen. Mishu is gone. Ren Yuan looked around but saw no one aside from them. When he ran to the front door, he saw Mishu's car that she brought here before was gone. That bitch. Nan Shen gritted his teeth as he held back the tears in his eyes. Seeing Tan Hua like this but unable to do anything really felt frustrating. What could he do? They could only wait for the ambulance to come. Cover her with a blanket first. Keep her warm. Ren Yuan quickly told Nan Shen to fetch a blanket as they waited for the ambulance to come. They could just move Tan Hua to their car now, but seeing how serious the wound was, they were afraid what they did would worsen the wound instead. Nan Shen hurriedly went to his room to fetch a blanket as Ren Yuan tried to call Mishu, but to no avail. He didn't expect Mishu to suddenly do something so horrible like this. What's her problem until she stabbed Tan Hua? They weren't idiots. There were only Mishu and Tan Hua downstairs now. They saw Tan Hua in this condition. Who else was the culprit aside from Mishu? Just what is that crazy girl doing? Nan Shen's footsteps echoed throughout the silent hall as he went down again to the kitchen bringing a blanket. He didn't care if his blanket would be stained with blood as long as Tan Hua was all right. God, please. Save her. Nan Shen stared at Tan Hua after he covered her body with a blanket, very carefully, afraid that it would move the knife deeper. He was at his limit. His head went dizzy and the urge to puke was so strong seeing the red blood on the floor. The smell of blood filled the room, bringing a greater horror to both Ren Yuan and Nan Shen. Both of them were anxiously waiting for the ambulance to come as one of them texted Shenling to inform him about the current incident. Tan Hua. Tan Hua. Nan Shen looked back and forth between Tan Hua and the door anxiously. Why was the ambulance so slow? It has been 5 minutes since they called them. Nan Shen, look what I found. Ren Yuan suddenly appeared in front of Nan Shen, after he roamed the kitchen to see if they could do anything to help Tan Hua with their best ability until the ambulance arrived. He was going around the kitchen, trying to find anything they could use to do first aids to Tan Hua, when he saw an empty small bottle on the kitchen table. What's this? Nan Shen couldn't care less with a mere bottle. The man anxiously sat down next to Tan Hua's body with a mixed feeling. He almost cried just now, realizing how incompetent he was, not being able to protect Tan Hua. This is poison. Ren Yuan gritted his teeth, cursing Mishu, who already ran away to nowhere. That girl was not only vicious to stab Tan Hua like this, she even coated the knife with poison. Poison? Did that bitch? All the blood was drained from Nan Shen's face when he heard what Ren Yuan told him. Poison? It's not enough to stab her until she bleeds like this. Miss Yu even used poison on the knife? Nan Shen quickly turned his head around to see Tan Hua's face only to see her lips turned purplish. It was a sign of being poisoned. I'm afraid. Ren Yuan was about to finish his words when he heard the sound of the ambulance coming to their house. Hearing this, Nan Shen quickly helped the medical staff to get Tan Hua to the car. Ren Yuan also stopped his words as he hurried the medical staff to bring Tan Hua to the nearest hospital. The man even used his connection to book the best doctor in the town to come to the hospital they were heading to, so Tan Hua could be treated very soon. Please be safe. Don't leave me. You will be all right. Nan Shen holds onto Tan Hua's cold hand with a trembling shoulder. His voice was shaking as he accompanied Tan Hua to the hospital. It will be all right. They got the best doctor. Tan Hua would be saved, right? She would be fine. Everything will be fine. She will be all right. Ren Yuan patted Nan Shen's shoulder as they waited for the doctor to finish helping Tan Hua. The man had been walking around in front of the operation room for several hours already. But the poison. Nan Shen gritted his teeth as he crossed his arm in front of his chest. He wanted to believe that Tan Hua would be all right, but it's been several hours already, and the doctor hasn't come out yet. Ren Yuan paused when Nan Shen said that. The man was stumped for words that he could only stare blankly at Nan Shen. He didn't know. He couldn't answer that. He couldn't say that Tan Hua would be all right 100%. Damn, what about that bitch? Did you find her? Nan Shen punched the wall behind him as he glared at Ren Yuan when he mentioned Yi Shu's name. He already knew that Mi Shu was acting weird. They also suspected her to be different from Mi Shu. They knew, but they didn't expect the girl to be so vicious to plan murder. She dares to hurt Tan Hua right in his own house when they were about to make a party. Just how daring is she? Sorry, she got away. That girl already prepared everything well. She ran away to another country. Ren Yuan squeezed his eyes tight, feeling tired of the things happened today. He wanted to call the police, but then Mi Shu would be arrested for sure. He didn't care if this Mi Shu was the one being arrested, but what if the real Mi Shu suddenly came back? He couldn't bear to arrest his own girl when she didn't do anything. It's all this Mi Shu's fault. Just who the hell changed the girl? If his guess was right, Mi Shu's soul was exchanged with another soul, even though it's very hard to believe. But the chance was there. You already did your best. Nan Shen sighed as he stared at the surgery room, which was still closed. His eyes were dead when he looked at the tightly closed door. Tan Hua. You will be all right. Please be all right. Where is that bastard? Just when Nan Shen was staring at the door with a blank face, an angry voice of a young man rang throughout the corridor, followed by a few flustered nurses trying to calm this young man. Huh? Ren Yuan turned around to see a family blonde young man was walking with a long stride to Nan Shen, who was standing still in front of the surgery room. That man just now. Isn't that? You bastard. The young man, who was none other than Shen Ling, suddenly grabbed Nan Shen's collar, and before the nurses could stop him, the man landed a strong punch straight to Nan Shen's face.